Am I wearing a mask again? I couldn't tell you. I just thought I might as well try it again. Well, hope you're doing wonderful. Hope your day's been good. Gotta say though, slight issue. I was kind of spending my day thinking about how I got a couple tests to do and how I have some group project, which I'll be absolutely honest, I've been failing my group for. Well, I've been doing bad. I've been putting back the rest of my group because I've been doing terrible. Well, not putting back. I think I'm a week behind. Maybe slightly more, to be honest, but either way, it's a lot of that. And hey, test times I can't change. However, that group project stuff I can. But a lot of what you feel from any of that, or anything like that, is stress. You know, stress is absolutely in everything you do. And sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. Sometimes self inflicted for the better, and sometimes for the worse, and sometimes you don't do it to yourself and it just happens, you know. Say for the ones you can't control. Actually, say for the ones you can control at first, because the ones you can control are so openly just, well, it feels all that much worse when you know it's preventable, when you know you could have done something, and it's a case of being or feeling that lazy, or feeling that bad, or feeling that wrong because maybe the reason you didn't do something or you're behind on something is because you were being lazy, or maybe you've been looking at something else and it was in the back of your mind and suddenly it's caught up. Sometimes it is just laziness, but either way, what you do and how you act after that is up to you. And what do you do about stress? And it's the case of it depends on the person. Some people have a way to cope, and some people don't. Some people can just, I don't know, look at a book. Some people can just go to sleep and think on it. And some people just can't deal with it at all. Some people get stressed out and suddenly everything goes haywire and suddenly it's just downhill from there. But, you know, again, that can be from self inflicted or non self inflicted pain or stress. Some people, some people get so stressed out, they don't know what to do with themselves and end up doing something they regret. And I don't need to get into that, but yeah. Either way, it's important no matter what you do or where you're at or how you're feeling. If you are stressed, and let's say it is self inflicted, you kind of got to learn a way that even after coping with it, that you can keep moving. You know, how important is it that you keep moving when you do something wrong? When you essentially get pushed onto the floor and think, I don't know what to do? How easy is it to get stressed from anything? Everything, to be honest. Every little thing that has an expectation or simply just a deadline or any kind of stake. If there's any stakes on anything you do, then there can be stress with it. And that's how it is, for better or worse. And for some people, that makes it better. Because, that kind of stress pushes them to keep moving further. That kind of stress is why people, last minute, under so much pressure, do deadlines in one day that should be taking months or weeks. And that's how people are. But I do think it's important, no matter what you do, to keep moving with stress. And I think it's amazing if you can try to learn to be someone who's been hurting or just downright crying because you're so stressed out you don't know what to do. And instead, you go to someone who can, well, pretty much just kind of says, I'm under pressure, now let me do something about it. I think no matter what you're at, you gotta do something about it. And that's me talking about stress that you've done to yourself or not. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. The better stress would be like going to the gym and then feeling physical stress on your muscles. Because, push weights and then, you know, well, your muscles go into stress, to be honest. But that's a bit different. I'm talking more of the mental stress here. But that as well is self-inflicted, but that's for good reason. But about the stress you didn't do to yourself, you kind of just had it for one reason or another. And about that one, it's kind of thinking, how do I firm this? How do I take this? I didn't expect this. I didn't know this was going to happen. And then suddenly, I've been hit with something that's absolutely killing me now, or it's making me feel a way that I don't even know how to do anything about. And it is the exact same method. It's kind of not essentially. Well, sometimes you can't think straight because when something hits you by surprise, you get surprised, you don't act rationally, you don't act at all, and you don't think. So it's kind of thinking, how do I get my head back in a space where I can say, what now? For a lot of people, again, they do have their coping methods, but for some, they feel hopeless. And I say, even if you feel hopeless, that's okay. As long as you don't stay that way. You can be as stressed out as you physically could on planet Earth, but as long as you can kind of pull yourself back into reality and kind of say, what now? Then you can do something about it. And I say, if you don't have anything to deal with it, or you're just unsure, I think, I think one, it's time to get a hobby and try to find something. That's all I can say. Maybe you're stressed out and you don't have money to do your hobby or something like that. Maybe you're stressed out about money, which is obvious. In that case, find something else you can try to do as a hobby for free. There are things that are so hard to deal with, and stress is one of them, which is the most common ever on the planet since the dawn of time. You are living, you are breathing, and you are feeling things that make you feel stressed, and that's how it is. But either way, when it's something you didn't expect, you just got to remember to kind of bring yourself to, back to reality and keep moving, no matter what kind of stress it is, actually. But yeah, just keep moving. Anyway, have a lovely day. And remember to not, put stress on yourself or strain.